Welcome to Fit Club Vegas, the ultimate fitness destination for visitors. Drop in for a day pass and experience our 10,000 square foot fitness playground. At Fit Club, you'll find state-of-the-art equipment and a sound system so good you'll pitch your headphones. Conveniently located 7 to 12 minutes from the Las Vegas Strip, Fit Club is a perfect spot for you to come get your pump while visiting Sin City. So come check us out at 4525 West Hacienda, Las Vegas, Nevada. Fit Club Vegas, more than a gym, it's a vibe.
All right, we're back. Episode 131.
Two,
okay.
132.
I always get it wrong. Well, welcome to the show. Amy's in the house for this one, and we've been talking about this for quite a while now.
Because she's a local star.
Yeah, but she's on a run. You've tore up the scene the last couple years, but we're going to go back a little bit further because I know it has to all start somewhere.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm super excited today.
And you've watched our episodes before?
Oh, yeah, majority of them. Not all of them, but majority of them I'm keeping up. Yeah.
Should we test her?
No, I think I just wonder. You of course watch the competition, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. But I watched all the ones that you guys do with all the females for sure. I watched all of those. Yeah.
We like to give the women shine too. There's a lot of bodybuilding podcasts just talk about the guys.
Yeah.
And if there's someone we can bring on and give them shine, might as well. And plus, we're in the fitness capital of the world, and we have a bunch of top girls right here in our backyard.
It's true.
And you're one of the ones that's battling the top girls.
Yeah.
So go ahead and our audience probably is not familiar with you. And I think a lot of people probably aren't in the industry because you came on so fast. So
yes.
Where are you from? Where'd you grow up? And we'll start there.
Okay. I'm from a small farm town, Hanford, California. It's about 6.5 hours up north. 2 high schools, very small town. Everybody knows everybody. I grew up doing cheerleading. So that's what kind of drew me into being an athlete. But my childhood history is interesting because I feel like I didn't really live a normal childhood. My mom got divorced at a very, very young age when I was a very young age. I was like 3 years old because unfortunately my dad was on drugs. He was addicted at that time. And so my mom had found somebody else, which is my stepdad now. They had got remarried about when I was like 6 or 7 years old. They had got married when I was 6 or 7. And then my dad was just in and out of jail, in prison my entire life. He struggled a lot with addiction to meth. And so he was around, a lot, but he was just that fun popping in dad, giving me money here and there, kind of, just trying to be a parent in a way, but not that type of parent. So childhood was very different for me growing up, lots of trauma, a lot of drug addiction in my family. So my mom was like the only person that was sober amongst her brothers and sisters and everything else. And so my mom later adopted 4 of my brothers and sisters now. They're my cousins before she adopted them. So because their parents were also on drugs and in jail and everything else like that. So it's just this vicious cycle that my family history has been going down. And I am fortunately the first person that is breaking that cycle. And so bodybuilding has really saved me and turned my life into a much positive direction. Like fast forward 4 years ago, I was highly depressed. I was an alcoholic in my terms. I was not doing very well. I suffered in my own way, I guess, with abuse. So with everything of what my family members were going through. And so bodybuilding saved me in a different way to suffer. Like I starve. I push myself super hard in the gym. I do my cardio. I show up every day for myself. And that is hard in itself. And it feels like it's its own form of suffering. So I feel like I really channeled my childhood history, my trauma, everything that I went through, everything that my dad has put me through, everything. I'm now able to channel into something positive, and I'm able to use it into where a true form of me feeling like I am suffering in a way. And that's just me working hard and showing up for myself every freaking day. So that's a little bit about not touching so much, on details, but
what's the closest? I grew up in a super small town, 6,000 people, but we went to a regional high school, so it was like 5 different towns.
Okay.
And obviously I've been traveled a lot through all my guest appearances. So what is the closest vicinity to where you grew up in Northern Cal? Like, what's the bigger?
Fresno.
Okay.
So you guys know Fresno?
Of course, yeah. I guest posed up there.
Yes,
I guest posed quite a bit.
Classic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do want to make my way up there. They've been asking me about some seminars, so yeah, I'm going to come back for some seminars.
So
there.
let me ask you, so you were a cheerleader in high school or in like grammar school also?
So how I got into cheer is I started doing gymnastics, did not like it.
Okay.
My mom threw me in, that there's a gymnastics coach there that said, hey, you'd be perfect for cheerleading. Like you're very energetic. You're not doing the skills level, but you're energetic. So she had me try out for cheer. I loved it. I did Pop Warner. I was like, this is not for me. I don't want to stand in front of football players and say, go team. I said, I want to do something more, kind of like a mixture of gymnastics, challenge myself. So I hopped into not professional cheer. It's like competition cheer where you pay some big bucks and you compete and you travel all around the United States and compete against other cheer teams that are kind of doing the same thing. So my mom would drive me 3 times a week to Fresno, California, and we cheered on a team called Fusion All-Stars, which is crazy because I'm on Fit Body Fusion right now. So, and our team colors were blue and Fit Body's blue. So
meant to be.
And my nationals at cheerleading was at GEMS Nationals, which was here at the Orleans every year in Vegas. So I came here for like 14 years winning national titles at the Orleans, which is crazy also because the Orleans was the Olympia.
I know. You didn't compete in the Olympia there, though.
Nope.
But I won a lot of titles there.
Yeah.
I won my first title there. And of course, it changed as soon as you get to that level and you could be competing there.
We were just talking about this the other day. I missed that venue.
It was great venue. So let me ask you this. So cheerleading, obviously physical, gyms in that area. Did you not start training in that area, or was there gyms? Or
are you talking about like lifting gyms?
Yeah, like lifting gyms.
I never picked up a dumbbell until 4 years ago.
Well, you won the USA when? What year?
2020, my first year in the sport.
So that was pretty much right away then.
Right away, yeah. Because when it comes to school, I struggled a lot. I still struggle when it comes to I was on my way of becoming an RN. I was in school. I was about to enter the LVN program here in Las Vegas when I first moved here in 2019. I struggled so hard in math, especially in math, and they told me I had to redo some courses because it's a new state. So I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot redo this again. So I just got so defeated, and I was like, I need to just try something else. And so Christian, my husband, he dragged me to the 2019. I mean, he dragged me. I was depressed. I was on medication at that time. And he dragged me to the 2019 Fit Expo, Mr. Olympia. But I didn't watch the bodybuilders. I just went to the Fit Expo. I was into UFC at the time. So I was excited to see Paige Van Zandt, and I got to meet her. And she was the ultimate person that inspired me.
She just did the slap fighting. That's the girl.
Oh, yeah. She got into that.
Yeah. She won her first one.
Yeah, I watched that. Yeah. And so I just saw all these girls with shoulders and butts, and I was 92 pounds, a stick figure. My natural genetics is just to be lean, very lean. I can barely pack on fat. If I have to eat a lot in order to gain weight. So I was like, I need to get into the gym. So that same day, I got a gym membership. And then I realized, I don't know what the heck I'm doing in this gym. Everything is just crazy.
What was that gym?
LVAC.
Okay.
LVAC. I think everyone in Vegas.
Which location was this?
Flamingo.
Okay. So you lived closest there?
Yeah, I lived off Town Center Drive.
Okay, yeah.
Or like little apartments. Yeah. And
I never went to that one because it was always too busy. That was like the busiest one in town.
I always lived in that area. That was the only gym near me. So I trained there for 5 years.
The female gym.
So Christian took you through your first workout? Did you take her through the workout or?
I did not like.
I'm just remembering that. And when you walk in that gym to the left, there's a spot for only women.
Yeah, there's a women's.
Well, yeah, all of them, I think.
Yeah, they all do. But the Flamingo one was the one that had the best equipment for the women, and that's the one I've always in there. I was never wanted to train in front of people. I was always nervous. I And so I hired a coach, a training coach. He happened to be a bikini coach. He's actually local to here, Las Vegas. And he was like, you are perfect for bikini. You should do it. I said, no, I just want to learn how to work out. And secretly, he was prepping me that entire time. I was doing cardio and I was 93 pounds. And I was like, how do I not know what this guy's doing? But he is prepping me for that show. He talked me into it. I officially got on board at 6 weeks out. And it was for the Legends Classic here in Vegas. And that was my first show. And after that, I was like,
That was 2019?
I'm good. Yes. No, 2020.
Okay, wow.
2020. 2019, I started prepping in November for that show. I stepped on stage in February, but to my knowledge, I knew about I was prepping for it 6 weeks out, and that's when I actually started being more intense with it. I did it, I loved it, and I was like, oh, hell yeah, I can do this because it doesn't involve my brain too much, like with
It does with the gym,
Yeah, but I can rely on my body so much because of cheer, of what I went through with cheer. I was like, I started at the back. I didn't know how to do any backflips, any stunting. I was like, this sucks. I don't want to be at the back. No one can see me. There's 20 other girls. So I took my butt to flight school. I had my mom drive me extra days, and I practiced, and I made myself point flyer. I was one of the best flyers on the team. I was one of the best jumpers on the team and best dancers on the team. And I was so good in cheer that I ended up on college level at age 12. And I was having grown men, adults, throwing me in the air with one hand and tossing me, and I was doing college cheer.
So why are you not doing fitness?
Because I like to fly.
Yeah.
I love to fly, and no one can throw me up. It's just...
I bet, though, you'd be really
Good at fitness.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I can do all
you
the
watch the
backflips.
fitness routines? Or?
Yeah. I love Missy Trescott.
Oh, yeah.
That's still one of my favorite things at any of the top shows, whether it's Arnold or Olympia, is watching the top fitness girls. 'Cause
Yeah.
when they're that good, it's almost like watching like a play. Like you can feel the emotions and see what they're going through, especially Oksana. Like it's like it's art. And
well, we watched it come from the beginning.
Yeah. Because in the very beginning,
Susie Curry was doing it.
Susie's, I don't know, did she do fitness too?
She did fitness.
So in the beginning, there was only men's bodybuilding, women's bodybuilding, and fitness.
Yeah.
Up until I think 2003? Is that when Figure came in?
One of the first divisions.
When did you pay attention to bikini? Who was on top, and who was on top when you started?
After I turned pro. So when I first did my first show, I said I wanted to do this. I realized my hormones were not in the right spot because I was being prepped of a old school body way, like bodybuilding way, as far as like water loading, cutting sodium, doing those things that you're not supposed to do, but I just didn't know. After the show, I couldn't really stay awake much. I was like, I'm struggling. So that's when I was like, okay, maybe I need to just take this into a more bigger route as far as find a better coach, maybe. And loved my coach at the time. He brought me into the sport. He's amazing, got me started. Good experience. But so that's when I found Fit Body Fusion, and I joined Fit Body. And then I, oh my gosh, what was the original question?
Who you was on top when you started?
Yes. So
and you started to pay attention. Who would caught your eye?
Laura Lee, for sure. It was Laura.
And what was she? She was second at the time, or
20?
When did she get second at the Olympia?
Oh, I wasn't aware.
She got in 20. Her first
one. She was like 20 or
her first one. She got second to Angelica, and then she fell back a little bit. Then she got second again to Jen Dory when she won.
Yeah,
in 21.
So after I turned pro, me and Christian were driving home, and we were like, "This is so cool!" Like we won the whole competition, but it didn't hit us until a few months later of what that means. Like only one girl gets to come out on that one overall title, and it is so hard to even turn pro. It is so hard, and we did it in 8 months. So in my head, I was just like, I'm having fun, I'm enjoying this, but I felt like that's why I turned pro so fast, because I didn't know what posing really was. I just knew what I had to do. I didn't know who the girls were. I didn't know who was pro. I didn't even know what Olympia was. I didn't know who Jen was at the time. Even the current Miss Olympia, I didn't know. And I feel like that
Janet.
Yes. And that naiveness helped me a lot get through turning pro, because I went through a lot of stuff, like peak week of me turning pro. My sister had gotten run over by her husband and shattered her hips, and he had just left her there. And that was very traumatic. She lived in Arizona at the time, and fortunately, God just worked his miracles, and the show happened to be in Arizona, which is my stomping grounds for my tribal, So I flew out to Arizona to take care of her for that week. And then that was my
peak
turning pro. Yeah. So there was a lot going on, but I didn't, if I knew that stress is bad, it would have been, you know what I mean? So a lot of it just was, it happened so smoothly because I was present and I didn't put pressure on myself. I was just like, let's do this. This is what I'm doing.
One thing I've noticed in the bikini division, the girls that go to the top, it's not a gradual process for the really good ones. Right out the gate, within the first year or two, boom, they're in the mix. And that's something that you've done right out the gate in the mix. You were in that first call out, even at the highest level. And it just, at that point, you slowly move up.
Yeah.
But right out the gate, it doesn't matter if it was Angelica, it doesn't matter if it was Janet, Laura Lee, Jen, they were all right in the mix right out the gate.
Let me tell you a cool story. My first pro show with Jamie was the Chicago Pro in 2022, my first show with Jamie. She was like, we're coming with an amazing physique. I think you can win this show. If not, definitely place top 5. But we just never know. You're brand new, all this stuff. Well, I ended up in the fourth call-outs. Or third call-outs. And I was like, standing there in the third call, and I was like, this is not what Jamie told me. Like, why am I here? I don't get it. So I was confused, and I just felt really down. When those girls' shoulders just kind of get depressed. That was me on stage. And then I went to the side and held my front pose off the side. And I was smiling, and I kind of like just was like, okay, it's okay. And all of a sudden, Sandy looks at me, and she's like, I think we need to throw this girl in here. And then she goes and pulls out second call-outs, and she puts me in the middle, and she goes, okay, we need to redo first call-outs. So they called out the first call-out girls, and they added me in there, and I ended up in the fourth place spot. And then I ended up taking home fourth place. But Sandy was like, I did not know who you were, but I saw you on the side. You're standing there, and you're just so poised. And that's what stood out to me. And then we're like, oh, thank God. They do their job. They know what they're doing. And so they didn't overlook me. And then after that, my second show was Tampa, and that's my first big pro win. And then I went on to Nashville, placed second. And then I went from there to Pacific USA's, where I earned my second pro win. And then the day after that, my little cousin had committed suicide. The day after my second pro win, just because, again, the cycle has not stopped from my still my brothers, sisters, cousins and stuff. They're still battling, going through all the trauma, because the trauma that we went through is just so much that you can't, like, I don't know. You have to really take time to work on your mental, yourself, and therapy or something. Everything that I'm doing, I've changed so much in the last 4 years. It's insane of how much I've grown, just because lack of experience growing up and just things I was exposed to.
It's a crazy outlet. I always talk about the mental aspect. You just said, I don't have to use but you're very methodical, I'm sure, about your training process. Obviously, you're working with Fit Body, you coach, right? You also coach. Mm-hmm. So you're spilling off a lot of experience that you've used in the gym. And going to, you talked a little bit about your hormones and the health aspect. Sometimes I've seen the women change, right? As far as the type of conditioning you have to get, especially like it's very hard to get for a lot of the girls. But like with you genetically, you definitely have more muscle pop, it seems like, than a lot of the girls. Now, talk about that because of genetics versus the other ones that might have to work and sacrifice to get there. Has there been a lot of conversation? Do the girls come to you or your clients and say, I'm pushing my body to a level that I've never been to? Is it that hard to get in that kind of condition?
It is. Yes. It took me, I would say, so I am so freaking healthy right now. Like, me and Jamie are just shocked because, it's every year you learn more and more things about your prep, about your hormones, about what your body needs, about what you go through. And every year you get better at, you keep doing, when you continue doing blood work every few months you learn something more. Okay, my body needs this. I need to take this only 3 times a week. Say your vitamin D was low, and then you brought it up. So you don't keep taking it the way you're taking it. You spread it out throughout the week, to maintain those levels. So you're learning by getting blood work done and doing the work and showing up every day. But and over time, your body will respond very, very well to everything. If you're doing it consistently, you're on point with it. And like now, I have my period even in show. I am gonna have my period around the Olympia.
And a lot of girls don't, correct?
And I didn't.
I would say most girls don't.
My first 2 years, I didn't have a period at all because my hormones, my body was like coming off of anything that I took. Like whenever I would come off of prep, it would take 4 months to get my period back because the body fat. Women, our hormones are ran through body fat. Men are very different. So we need that body fat in order to, so if you can get your hormones at homeostasis while lean, while in prep, the problem is whenever you go and gain a bunch of weight and then you go and get it off, your hormones are always changing, always hard.
If I could ask you, you think that fluctuation is the most important control thing for anyone off to on season what would you recommend as a weight? Like how much is the limit that you can gain?
I would say 9 pounds as a competitive pro would be ideal because you don't need to continuously build because we're capped at the muscle we need. But if you need to build, you got to pack on muscle. So I would say about 15 pounds max as like a NPC, but you got to make sure your diet, it's all about how you do things. Your diet, if you're eating freaking pizza rolls, you're going to gain more fat than get the benefits of the actual nutrition. But if you're eating chicken and rice and broccoli and avocado, you're going to gain minimal fat, and it's going to be, you're going to gain lean tissue. So it's all about how you treat your off season, how much you care, and how you treat your prep.
I've never seen you out. I know you compete a lot through the year, which is kind of rare especially for some of the top girls, right? They seem to focus on Arnold Olympia only, where you do a lot of the shows in between. It's never enough for you, right?
I will continue doing that.
Why do you do that, though, compared to, do you feel like that's a genetic thing? It's just easier for you to condition yourself? Or I know for me, if I competed over and over, sometimes I would get off because your body it can't handle the continuation of competing and draining water. And, how much have you stayed in striking distance weight-wise? I haven't seen you get over a certain...
I don't, because I get uncomfortable when I don't know how to explain it. So it's I have a plan every single year of what I want to do. I already know what shows I'm doing next year. And it's always to make sure I'm leveling up and staying on top of my stuff. I don't want to, if I go and gain 10, 12, 13 pounds and I'm off stage for 5-6 months, how do I that? That's not comfortable with me. I need to make sure I'm continuing to show up for myself and making sure I'm following the criteria of the division because it's always changing. And I love it too, but it's not hard for me to get into competition prep. What's more of a challenge for me is my time with my family, with my daughter, things like sacrifices from that. That's the most challenging part. But I don't know. Jamie's made this comment. She's like, it's hard to mess up your peak because I don't really get flat
You're on point. You're on point always.
Always on point. And if something one time I trained my quads when I wasn't supposed to because I did a video shoot and my quads were sore the next day and I cried for 3 hours. But that was a year and a half ago. No, last year. That was the beginning of last year. But I wouldn't do that now because I'm more experienced. My mindset, that's one thing that I feel is the reason why I'm here is because my mindset. I never go into the wrong direction. I don't think I need more of something. I don't think I need to push harder on something. If Jamie says I need something more, I get uncomfortable, but I make sure it happens. And then once I get it, I'm okay with stopping. If she's don't lift anymore, okay, say no more. I will be happy doing that and I'll focus on other areas.
She's very similar to the way you were, where she just stays professional and in good shape year round. I mean, I know you fluctuated more being an open bodybuilder, but you never got out of shape, ever. I'm sure if you really wanted back then, you could have dieted a shorter amount of time to get in shape, but you never got out of shape. And
Yeah, I mean, I was so genetically gifted in areas I didn't have to train those areas as much. Like my legs in the beginning were just way ahead of, so I had to take 3 years and not really train my legs.
I pack on muscle, like I can definitely grow in a deficit 100%. Like when I first started training, so when I got with Jamie was like, okay, you are so tiny, we need to evaluate your training. And then I was like, okay, because I was 100 pounds when I got with Jamie. And then she's like, okay, how are your squats? I'm like, I don't do squats. What are you talking about? And she's like, you've never done a squat? And I said, I've never picked up an Olympic barbell. And this was after I turned pro. And she's like, why? And I was like, no one taught me. I don't know what I'm doing. I only did machine work, dumbbell work. And my coach at the time, just that's what she had me doing. So Jamie's like, nope. And then I got a powerlifting coach here in Vegas, and I deadlifted. I did heavy singles, 5-rep maxes, banded heavy deficit, RDLs, squats, deadlifts. I did all of it. I grew like 10 pounds in 3 months, 10 pounds almost of muscle in 3.5 months. And Jamie was like, all right, we're going into prep. She gave me an 8-month off season. And I said, hell no, I'm going to show you, watch. And I remember coming home from training sessions, literally about to pass out because I was in like shock from like low blood sugar or something crazy, because I would just leave everything out on there. But my coach was amazing. She pushed me. Like when my back was hurting, she's like, nope, keep going. I don't care, because I needed to build everything. It wasn't like how I train now. Now it's upper glute, just upper glute. If I let my waist get bigger, nope, I cannot. So
one thing I know about you that, you know, a lot of others don't, you're native. Mm-hmm. And what side of your family did that come off? Your mom or your dad?
My mom.
Your mom. So talk a little bit about being a Native American, because there's not a lot of us left.
Yes. So my tribe is Salt River, Pima, Maricopa Indian Community. My tribe is in Scottsdale, Arizona. Our 2 casinos are Casino Arizona and Talking Stick Resort. I am a part of 2 different tribes, completely different tribes in Arizona, but I am only registered with my Pima and Zuni tribe. So I am Pima and Zuni native blood. So they both do mix. They're both 2 different native bloods in Maricopa County. And so they mix, and I am half, and my mom is full. And she did take us away from the tribe because we have, as you know, a lot of history of drugs. And then this is where, yes, this is bad. And my mom's father, my grandpa, passed away he drank himself. Yeah. So she took us away from all of that, which is a huge, huge blessing. But at the same time, we grew up with another tribe. My mom kept us in our Native American tribe. So do you guys know the Tachi Palace in Lemoore? No? Okay. So that's another Native American tribe that is out in California. And we would go to their powwows. We would go fry Indian bread over there with the tribe. But it's very dangerous, like dangerous. Like I was not allowed to go out there and hang out with friends or party, because we said, we're our own sovereign government. We have our own laws in our own community. If you try to get pulled over you're speeding and you're trying to if a cop's trying to pull you over, you can't get in our land. Our own cops are scared of the natives. They're scared. They don't mess with them because that's just how it is. So
some places are.
Where is that located?
Lemoore, California, about 15 minutes away from here.
Okay.
Is that north or south of Fresno?
I don't know. I think it's south. Okay. But I'm terrible. Like I guess that my brain, especially right now in prep. But like they would shoot out the street lights with guns and then just ride around in ATVs and cars and blow, literally light cars on fire, and they're crazy, but a lot of fun though. But so my mom didn't raise us on the reservation. So but we still kept up with, you know, all of our traditions with pots and pans, and all of our bread making with our bread bowls, you know, how we grind all of the fry bread and everything. So we do that. I don't speak Pipash, unfortunately, but
can your mom?
It's broken. Yeah, broken. We just don't practice it, you know, as much. But yeah, my mom had a lot going on. you know, as our childhood growing up, to where we couldn't really tap much into our Native American culture too much because we just were.
What age did you break away? You remember?
Break away from
your reservation. Were you born or?
No, I was not born. I was born off the reservation. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, we have family that lives on the reservation, and we separated from there. My mom did when she was young, so she did live on the reservation during her time.
So any connection now? I mean, do you participate in anything?
I
the last 4 years? Or?
So I had just had a tribal council meeting last year because I want to bring more awareness to our community because we are known for, you know, not the healthiest, bodies. We have a lot of obesity, a lot of drugs and violence and all that stuff. So I did bring a whole presentation in PowerPoint to the tribal council to see if I can come speak and do a seminar. And they were super interested. So they're also looking to hopefully sponsor me in the future. But we're talking. It's a lot of things that they have going on. So I have another meeting coming in a couple months.
Yeah, that's a problem with tribes around the country. And even up in Alaska, Eskimos and Inupiats, same thing, a lot of alcoholism. Because a lot of times the reservations were started and the government kind of just pushed people away and just left them there.
Yeah.
And a lot of people turn to alcohol. So it's very prevalent at almost every tribe across the country.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of alcoholism, a lot of abuse. Yes.
It's known. Yeah. And it's just, like I said, it's just that vicious bloodline cycle that it's just like addictions, it runs in my family 100%. Like it definitely does. And it's a genetic thing, I think. I don't know. But yeah, it is a thing in our Native.
Is your mom still in California?
No, my mom. So the past couple of years, I've been working really, really hard to get my mom to move here. Because back home, it's just, if you're living back home, I'm not speaking for everybody, but it's just there's no opportunity there. There's no opportunity. The biggest opportunity to go is work at the casino. That's the biggest thing that you can do for your life, or, you know, become a doctor and all that stuff. But there's not much opportunity for physical and mental growth there. So she did move here earlier this year in March.
Okay.
Ever since I started doing well in bodybuilding, a lot of my family members have changed the way that they've doing their life and just how they live their life.
So then you're changing the cycle. So now you have a different responsibility as you have a daughter, and there's not a lot of top women in our industry that have kids, unless they're someone that have older.
Yeah.
So what are you doing to break that cycle so now the next generation doesn't have to go through what you did?
Yeah. I think it's more of just showing all my family members what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, showing up for myself. And I share all this stuff with them, how I raised my daughter, how it's different. When I don't know, like I set a lot of boundaries. I think it's more boundaries, setting those boundaries. But I'm teaching Aria a lot because she's so shy. She wouldn't even pose in front of Jamie. And at the New York Pro, because I was top 2, so they were like, if you win this title, I asked, I was like, if I win this title, do you think I can bring Aria on stage? And they said yes. And I said, okay, Christian, can you ask? But I 90% sure that she was going to say no, that she would not go up. And the moment that I said, can I bring my daughter on stage, Aria, I looked at her, she ran, no hesitation, and she grabbed the mic and started speaking. And she was like, I'm so happy my mommy won. And I was shocked. I was like, this is what is changing her to feel confident and to come up here and do it because she sees me doing that.
I was going to say, I would have never thought she was shy. Almost she's on your social media all the time, and she's posing with you, and she's on stage holding the award. And she's like your cheerleader.
Yeah. And she loves what I do. And she sees, like, whenever she tries to cheat on something that she's doing, I'm like, does mommy cheat on this? Does mommy cheat on the gym? No. Does mommy want to get second place? No. I go to win. And so it helps our family dynamic. Yeah.
Talk about that social media aspect, because I've seen you doing content forever. I mean, I remember seeing you guys at Kilo Club shooting years ago. And I don't know what you were shooting for. It might have been but are you, like, how do you feel the importance of social media in today's
Media is almost everything right now. That's what sponsors pay for, you know.
Is it work for you though?
Oh yeah. For me, it's work because I don't like, I'm a girl, but I don't do the eyelashes, the nails, all the girl stuff, the extra girl stuff. I like to be very just simple. So that's that. But
don't you think people follow you for that reason?
Yeah, that too. So it's a job for me because I'm not comfortable in front of the camera. This is my first, I was on stage with the 20 other girls competing in cheerleading. So it was not just me. We had individual routines. I never wanted to do them. So I think it's just, I'm just getting comfortable. I'm just getting comfortable in that. I'm going to get better. I do have a full-time content guy, but I still kind of run from the camera.
And where do you put out the most content? Like, is it Instagram? Do you have a YouTube channel? I mean...
Yeah, I do Instagram, Fitness by Ames, and my YouTube channel we're starting it, and it's doing really well. It's doing really well. We just pumped up our Pittsburgh Pro video from May. That just got pumped out 2 days ago, so go watch that.
Behind the scenes and
backstage. Yeah. How me and Jamie, work, prep my body and everything for the show.
But, when you think about not being the girly girl, one of the most valuable women ever in our industry is Dana Lynn Bailey. Mm-hmm. And she is the same way, and people love her for that because there's a lot of women out there that aren't girly girls 24/7. So just being yourself is more valuable than looking a certain way for a camera that's not authentic.
Yeah.
So don't ever think you're doing something wrong or you need to do it. No, do it your way. Your way is the way that's right for you. So don't ever forget that.
Pacific West Injury Law. Injured? Call 602-HURT. Car accident? Call 602-HURT. Our firm is dedicated to you and your recovery.
The early days for me, I was really good at training and eating, but then I started to get popular. And I started to have the travel schedule. And, how do you adjust to that? Because, you see your peers, going to all these different events. Besides competing, now, you're going all over the place. You were just on Olympia TV in Arizona, and now you're going to Pittsburgh. And it's during that prep, how do you handle that transition time? Is it getting harder as you get more popular?
I wouldn't say it gets harder. I feel like it gets more, it's fun. It's fun to do these things. And I'm sure later on I might feel like it's more work, but right now it's so exciting. It's so much fun to go do these things. Even though it is extra work and it is exhausting, but I think that's what's more keeping me at bay of my energy and everything is how exciting this is for me, how big this is for me, and every opportunity I am jumping at it and yes, let's go. But it's not so challenging because my life at home as a mother, I have to be so structured with my daughter and with our family life and my prep and my work. So traveling doesn't really affect me. It'll only affect time management, making sure I get to the gym on time or effective with not I don't want to wait until 6 p.m. to get to the gym. I'm not going to get a great workout by then. So just certain things I need to be on top of. That's the only challenging thing. But right now I feel like everything's so exciting.
I know, but you're competing against your idols, right? I talked about this with Ronnie Coleman because Ronnie Coleman called me when I won my first pro show in 2000, Night of Champions. And back then it was a morning and night show, and I didn't know anything about how it was judged or anything. I was fairly new I only had competed in a few shows even as an amateur. So he called and said, "Hey, you won." And it was only prejudging. And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, I'm like, "Well, it's not over yet." He goes, "No, you won. It's okay." So it was kind of cool. I knew going into the night show I had won. Ronnie Coleman was Mr. Olympia, and he called me. Well, little did he realize that a year later I would be
on stage with
on his heels. I got second for the first time, very controversial. And I was like, wow. People said, "Well, you were disappointed you didn't win." And all of a sudden I'm like, well, I was so happy to be second to my idol. So when you see the Laura, you guys just did a segment together, Laura Lee, and you got all these shows that you compete with. What does it feel like to know that you're a front runner with? Your expectations going into Olympia this year, they have to be bigger. Yeah, they have to be bigger than the prior years because now you've had a solid track record. So So how do you feel when you beat some of these people? Because I felt bad. Like,
that's okay. So let me tell you something. At the Arnold's, I also want to ask you a couple questions, but at the Arnold's, I felt, because the one girl I looked up to in the sport was Laura Lee, and I told her this at the battle, but that she was the it girl for me. She was, and I wanted to be like her. I wanted to emulate her. I wanted, just everything, and then the moment that I realized, holy shit, I am being super competitive with her now, and that was at the Arnold's, because Olympia is just a different story, but at the Arnold's, I felt uncomfortable to go even talk to her. I felt like I was stepping on her toes, or it was like a disrespect thing. I don't know. I just didn't feel like how I used to feel.
Well, because people are talking about you as being hey, she's going to do really well at this show. So it was like, oh,
yeah,
she's a threat, right?
How did you feel when you, I know you said you felt bad, but how did you feel before everything, like before you won and beat him?
I felt so weird when I beat Kevin Leverone and Sean Ray and the people that I followed all the way through. I mean, I beat Paul Dillette at my first pro show. He got third, and I was like, he was my neighbor, and he was like a big name in the top 5 at the Olympia several times. So I was like, wow, this is surreal. But then I have to realize, though, Jay, you're in the position now, like you need to become your own man. And I told Phil Eat this because, like, Phil was under me, and he was working his way to the top, and he was a total fan of the sport. And, when he finally beat me and won, I said, Phil, man, you have to be, like, you have to realize you're a talent. Like, and sometimes when you're so new, it's just like he talked about, your rise to the top is like fast, right?
So fast.
And all of a sudden, it's like you'll wake up and it's going to be over before you know it. That's one thing I can say sitting on the other side of this mic now. And as we lead up to Olympia every year, I still have this feeling of the Olympia, and I have to catch myself like, okay, I'm not in it anymore. That's the crazy thing. So when I do these interviews and we talk to all these people that are building up, we had Hunter in here, Andrew Jack, and all these people that I'm going to win. Derek Lunsford's like, I'm coming to win it again. And it's like, man, it just brings me back to my competitive side, which I try to move away from it because like you, there's so much more to life. And you realize that, especially with a child and being involved and passing on, you're going to do great things along the way as far as helping others.
Yeah.
But the experience that you're going to have by the end of your career is going to be that much more valuable.
Yeah.
Because of that experience. But yeah, I felt, I don't know if I deserved to be there. That's how I kind of felt.
That's how I kind of expressed a little bit to you about the battle, how I felt like just going into that. I was like, do I belong? Part of me feels that way, but then part of me is like, no, I freaking worked hard for this. I've earned this, and this is what I wanted. It's scary, but it's just new. But going into, it's just So how did you handle yourself being around these types of and knowing that you're now on their level and accepting yourself at their level?
They have to respect you. I mean, and that I just kind of kept I was very
You stay in your own lane, or
did.
You were more open?
I did, and then I learned how to be a leader because eventually I became the guy, right? So I realized that, okay, I can't be as silent anymore. I had to speak more, and I came out of my shell because I was a very introverted. That's why I was so great in the gym, is because I could lock in and there was no world. And that's how I was a super loner. Like, even as a younger child, I didn't sleep at people's houses. I didn't have many friends that I were like close friends. I had I was popular in high school, but I only had a few people I really stayed communicating with. And that's why I feel like bodybuilding, when I found myself in the gym and I locked there for the 2 hours a day that I probably overtrained, but it just was so easy for me because I watched the progress. And what's more motivating than like getting stronger, building? I mean, you look at yourself in the mirror, right? We're artists. That's what we do.
Yeah. And
I'm sure you look every workout, and I'm sure Christian looks, and you guys take the pictures of the video and you watch, okay, this is this is something new to my physique. And the thing is the judges always would tell me, you need to get bigger. It's different for you guys, right? And you have to look elegant out there. You have to walk in heels. So a lot of practice in that sense. I mean, shoot, you got to have the right suit. I mean, you have your suit color. I mean, you seem to stay with the same. I mean, they tell you what it is, right? What happens when you decide to switch it up and do a different color, like Ashley did later in her career?
So what's crazy is I feel like I started so early and I was making all these strides. I know that I haven't even hit my peak, my truest potential. Like, I am still figuring out my posing, and my posing isn't as good as it needs to be. I know that it can definitely be more. We're focusing more on that for this Olympia, but I know, like, I've come down a lot in my waist. Like, I feel like you guys haven't seen me at my best, and I haven't even seen myself at my best yet, because I'm still building. I'm still building and sculpting my physique. And every single time that I've stepped on stage, if you look at all my stage photos side by side, I've improved every single show, even from Arnold's to Wasatch, from Wasatch to Pittsburgh. I improved. If I would have brought that Pittsburgh to Arnold's, I don't know what would have happened. But the point is that I keep getting better and trying new things.
How do you shrink your waist? Is it illusion?
I changed my training.
Yeah.
I changed my training to take my waist completely out. So, like,
give me an example of what you were doing that might have hindered that.
For an example, not might have hindered it, but I changed everything. So, like, if I was doing lateral raises standing, I wouldn't do them standing or sitting anymore. I would do them laying down on a bench and have my knees up to where I can.
So no core,
no core, no nothing, no back, just lateral raises. If I'm doing face pulls, I'll be on an inclined bench and have my chest against the bench, and I will do
no core.
Yep. All my workouts are modified to directly make sure that my core is not involved. My low back, same, because your low back is involved with your core, with the hourglass shape. So that, but also I grow muscle so fast that I get a lot of buildup, a lot of adhesions. I have to get body work done 3 times a week, and I do that consistently every single week. And
what is that, though? I was a huge body work person, so
I do dry needling once a week. I'll do deep tissue once a week. I'll do lymphatic every once in a while when my body needs it. That's not a routine thing, but if I need it, I will do it. I have mobility stretches every morning. I'll do my vacuums with my leg lifts for my lower belly pelvis area to make sure I'm able to suck that in, because it's easy to suck in the abdominals, but when you have kids, that lower part, it's hard. So I do all those things, just to make sure I'm on top of everything. But I'm always like, if I'm not doing this, I'm uncomfortable. I'm like, I don't know. I just have to make sure because I know how good I can be. And I know that, like, I knew I was going to be at the Olympia. I knew I can be at the top 5. Last year, I was expecting myself a top 3 placing. I did not get that. That crushed me. I was so upset. But then again, I got the flu at peak week. Remember I texted you? I was throwing up on Saturday right before Olympia. I didn't recover until 4 days after that. But she
texted me. It was about a week out. And I just, calm down. You got another week. Because you know this, something could go wrong, but you can get right back on track really fast. And
yeah. But that did hinder my fullness. It did. My muscles couldn't fill out properly. But I didn't think that. I didn't feel that. Now to this day, I feel like that was a factor. But I recovered. I showed up my best. I looked really good. It was just slightly too lean. Slightly too lean.
So the Olympia is what, 4.5 weeks now?
Yeah.
What's going to happen this year?
We're going to take the title, hopefully.
I was going to say, I want to see some confidence out of you.
It's not up to me, though. If it was, I would say, yes, I want to win. But it's up to all those judges, and all the girls that are showing up are freaking incredible. They're amazing. They've been here. They know what they're doing. They know what they're bringing, and they're going to bring their best. And I know I'm going to bring my best. So we'll just see what the judges.
I was going to say, this is the first time there's been a vacated.
Yeah, how do you feel about Jen Jory stepping out? I mean, were you surprised at that, or?
Well, first, best wishes to Jen. I know she knows what she's doing, and I'm sure she made the best decision for what she needs right now. So she will be missed. But yeah, I was very shocked to see that. I didn't expect that. But it's unfortunate because she is our current Miss Bikini Olympia, and it'd be amazing to be compared with her on stage and to get that experience again with her. But next year.
I haven't seen the current champion step down since Dorian Yates did in 98. He won in 97 and he was injured after. And
I don't think it's any divisions.
He made the announcement of, I'm not going to defend the title, so it opened up for Ronnie Coleman to win his first. And he was basically retired from there.
Wow. I did not
Did
think that.
Did Oksana do it? Did she walk away, or she wasn't the champion when she walked away?
I don't think.
No, she got her first, I think, this last year.
No, Oksana, she got her 5th this last year.
Oh, her fifth.
Oksana.
Well, she had stepped away. She retired.
Okay, that's
came back.
what-
But I don't remember if she retired on top.
But Missy was injured, and
Yeah.
But this is the first time you've had, that I can remember, that you've had a current champion who's healthy, everything good, just saying, I'm taking a step back.
You spend a lot of time doing this. Obviously, the financial reward and the women's bikini stuff, it's not like the men's.
Yeah.
Is that ever discouraging for you? Or do you not even look necessarily at...
When it comes to Olympia, no, because the Olympia is what puts you on the map for sponsors and whatnot. But other shows, yes, for sure. Yeah, because it's a lot to do what we do. It's a lot to spend the money and to travel, and everything's out of pocket, And depending on what your sponsors, I do have some amazing sponsors. My main sponsor is Global Formulas, Jacob Frank.
Mm-hmm.
He's like a family friend, and yeah, we're really close. But yeah, he's one of my biggest sponsors that, takes care of me.
What about international competitions?
I will be doing international shows next year. I don't have
not
a
yet?
passport.
Oh, okay.
I've never had one growing
The
up.
king of passports right here.
They told me this the other day. I said, what? Why don't you have a passport?
I've never had
that.
a reason. No one's ever told me, hey, let's try.
Have a passport? Okay, so you're both gonna... So you got to sign up for the appointment, go down to the little office here and
Get it done.
And get it done, yes. I was very close to competing in the Brazil Olympia after Olympia, but I was like, okay, no, it's just a lot to travel after the Olympia.
What is it called?
It's an amateur Olympia, but they're having a bikini pro.
Yeah.
It's a week after.
But it wouldn't be an Olympia.
Yeah, but I didn't know it was an amateur Olympia either.
They've had an amateur Olympia there for a while. Okay. So it's just they're gonna have a bunch of, from what Tamer said, he's gonna have a bunch of people doing appearances and some people competing, some people guest posing. I think it's more to bring an Olympia level caliber talent to
It's crazy because in our industry, we're more popular internationally.
That's what I've heard.
way more.
So there's a lot of cultures, especially in your division. I mean, Asia, like you said, Brazil, South America.
India.
Yeah, you have so many opportunity zones for more exposure, which will only build your brand and build your legacy.
When Angelica was Olympia champion, I managed her before she could speak English. The 2 years she was the champion, she did 72 appearances.
Wow.
And probably a third of those were international, if not half.
That's what I want to do.
All over the world.
That's what I was
constant.
I want to be an athlete. Like I coach now, but I keep a very, very 25 athletes max. I want to be a coach, but later on in my way later if I decide to. But I want to be like Jay. I want to be an athlete first. I want to go to appearances, seminars, educate, speak, travel with my family because my husband does everything with me. We do everything together. It works so well. So, and I know it'll be beneficial for our family, even to travel and do all this stuff.
Well, it's a beautiful place.
It is.
How is your eye of the competition? Can you pick it apart pretty easy?
Oh, he's getting better.
Yeah. You're going to be biased, right? But
it was a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, amateurs are hard.
Yeah, amateurs, I'm like, this looks different,
It's a big step, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But you're honest when you're at a show, if you think she's going to win, you can usually tell by the call outs, right? But
oh yeah. Yeah.
But whenever I saw a girl on stage, I was like, oh my God.
Oh yeah. He saw a girl on stage and she had a bigger butt than me, but he didn't know what the criteria is.
I would judge it I'm like, wow, that looks good, right? But we know in bikini that's not so good. So
You have to have two eyes. One, the man looking at a woman eye, and one, this is a professional competition. That's not right.
I was so offended when he told me that. I was like, what?
Why are you looking at that girl's butt?
It's a suit that matters, though, right? Yeah. I mean, I had like a V on my posing trunks, which no one even talks about. Really? Because it helped. No, it helped on my upper. I had them custom made because it made my V taper look better.
That's why I do the high hip with the V.
Yeah.
I do a V cut in my suit because I have a longer torso. Mm-hmm. So it makes my torso just look more
balanced.
Yes, more balanced.
This year's Olympia for bikini is the first time where there's 5 girls that can win it. And everyone, there's a pro and a con for each one.
Yeah.
So it just matters on.
It's about who's on freaking point. And I feel like that's one thing that we know is we know my physique. We know what to bring. Every show I've done, I've nailed my conditioning, my fullness, my peak. It's just about finding the right combination of everything with my hair. Like New York Pro, I showed up in Jamie's room with just my makeup done and my hair was just normal like this. And I was having the same thoughts before I went to her room. And she's like, I love your hair like this. I was like, can we try it straight? She's like, yeah, like let's just do it. It's New York Pro. Like, it's a good show. You look amazing. Let's do it. And I was like, okay. And then we did it straight. And we're like, this is a look. We're taking that look to Olympia. And it just felt like it skyrocketed me a little bit with my streamline of my physique, especially my back pose.
I like that better. I think too many girls try to they go too far above and beyond and just looking the way you feel look best. Because remember, if you don't feel comfortable, it's going to show in your presentation. Oh, yeah. But if you're comfortable and you feel good, your physique is going to show that. Yeah. Just from the confidence.
Yep. 100%.
So you came to Las Vegas. Was there a reason you came to Vegas?
Yes. My husband's mother, my mother-in-law, she moved here, bought a house here. We were living with her, honestly, in San Diego at the time. This was 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. And we were struggling. We had to have someone to help us with our daughter. We had no other family there. So we're like, okay, let's follow them to Vegas. So they moved to Vegas and they bought a house. And then we moved to Vegas. And then something happened with their house that they bought it, but it was under construction. So they couldn't move in yet. So they went back to San Diego. So we were stuck in Vegas by ourselves for half of 2019. And then we just we loved it. And we stayed. And then his family moved back here in 2020. Yeah.
And you were in the fitness capital of the world. I mean, this is where it's at right now.
Yep.
I mean, you've watched it kind of unfold. I mean, since COVID and now, I mean, you train at probably a few different gyms, but what's your home base right now?
Sure. And only at Torture.
Is it because of the equipment?
It's because of the environment there. Honestly, when I go to other gyms, I'm either worried about someone's looking at me like weirdos, or the environment. I don't feel like it's home. I just feel like it's just the vibes are off. Torture gym, I feel like it's just the people that go, they stay in their own lane. No one looks at you. But I'm very much like you. Like Christian will go in the gym and he notices everyone around him. Mm-hmm. I go in the gym and I'll walk past one of my sponsors. I don't even see them. I will I did that to Jacob before and he's like, what the heck? I was like, I don't see you. I go in the gym, I look at the floor and I have my headphones on before I go in the gym always. So I don't have to stop and talk to anybody. And I go to my workouts and I look down. I don't look at anyone else but myself. Literally.
You remember the first time I met you?
Yes.
At Fit Club?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
You're like, I'm like, who are you? And she's like, I just won the USA.
Yeah.
You remember how far after the USA was that?
I think it was just time. Oh,
okay, because you had just won. Like, I didn't know. I had no idea a local girl won.
Yeah.
You said it was in Arizona, right? So maybe I didn't, because they moved it. It must have been during that awkward time.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, I remember that.
Yeah.
And then
were you there too when I came over? Yeah.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you came and said, yeah. And I didn't know you even had one and you lived here. Obviously, yet, I had seen everyone around the gyms. And
he's like my safety blanket. Like, he'll be like, go talk to them. I'm like, no. And then he's like, okay, hey, this is my wife. He's like, hi. Yeah, he's always.
I actually think I remember that. I think you said something.
You were there too. I met you there too because you asked me to be on something. It was something that involved Jay, but it wasn't this. It was something totally different. You guys were filming for it.
JTV?
JTV, yeah.
Yeah, I think we did.
Yes, and it was an interview with another guy.
Dave. Yeah, JTV.
Yeah.
Wow.
long time ago, and it never happened.
That was so long ago, 4 years ago. Lots happened in 4 years ago.
But so this is Title Town. We talk about this all the time.
13 Olympia winners in one city. You're going to have 14?
What do you guys think? What do you guys think about bikini?
I mean, you're tearing up the circuit. I mean, everyone has to see you coming at this point. And if you're saying you're fine-tuning to, well, I don't know what these judges ask for. You know, like I said, they used to ask me for more size. More condition. I think it's, like you said, the standard has changed a little bit as far as the posing. I mean, making those adjustments, I mean, does it get difficult to have an ever-changing division? Seems like.
It is very difficult because it's like a moving target, literally. That's why you have to always be watching who's winning. And that's one thing I'm very fortunate is Jamie goes to all the shows.
So she knows.
She's home maybe 4 weekends out of the year, similar to you, with you guys. But she goes to all the shows. She's talking to all the judges. Okay, what's different between first and second? Because this is something that's either something's off to her, she'll ask questions and be like, is this what you want? Because I will bring this if this is what you want, things like that. So I'm fortunate on that end for her to be being out there, all that. But I feel like, I don't know. I feel like if you're winning shows and you're doing well, that's the standard. Obviously at the Olympia, when some of the girls only compete 2 times a year, it's hard to know the exact standard. And then there's other girls that are winning throughout the rest of the year. It's like, how do we follow the standards? So I feel like we just really need a top Olympian to be competing actively throughout the year, just so we can stay on top of our criteria. Because that's because someone has to win. If someone's too conditioned, and they're all like the shows in Europe for bikini, they're usually always too hard and too conditioned, but that's how the girls show up. You have to pick a winner. So if a girl sees someone winning and they're really, really conditioned, they're thinking, oh, that's what I need to bring, and then whenever you see staged shots, they're harder than what they look in person. So that's where bikini is very different. So if you see me whenever I was doing my shows, everyone was saying that I was so big for bikini. I was changing the division. I was making it more muscular, but I wasn't. It's just my look. I am very round. I have very round muscle bellies, and I look poppy on stage through video. But on stage, I look like I'm 112 pounds. I don't look any bigger than that. So, but that's when Tyler came out with that video recapping the Pittsburgh Pro with me and Ashley. He was saying, I don't know what this rumor is about. Aimee got so big legs that she looks like wellness or all this stuff. But I just think that someone new was coming up and winning shows and winning big titles that people were just like, is her physique even what we want for the Olympia, that type of thing. And then so it was a lot of questions, a lot of people trying to tear me down, a lot of people not rooting for me. I've had a lot of things of girls saying things in the sport, but
I feel like though it's you guys kind of support each other more. I've noticed more camaraderie in the female division than the male.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're
like, I watch like people, like a lot of the girls comment on your posts, and like it seems like they're super supportive.
Yeah. Well, all the bikini girls, we don't, like I said, the battle, it was more of like, let's go, girl, you can lift more, like let me help you out, that type of stuff. We're not like that, but of course, whenever we are on show day, some of us will stay in our own lanes and that type of stuff. But I don't know, just naysayers. And then coaches will go and say their opinions on athletes and stuff. It spreads around.
Would you be inviting to like some of the younger generation coming up at the backstage? Like, do some of the girls come up to you?
Oh yeah, yeah, it's so cool.
And they're nervous, and I mean,
yes, and I'm just like, girl, don't be nervous. Like I am, but I get it. I'm just like how
you're just
like,
nervous. All the girls are nervous.
You're probably more in the position of front runner because you do so many competitions. So a lot of girls know, okay, this is the girl. So, of course, they're very respectful to you, and probably, like, some of it's their first, like, a lot of these things, right?
And I think back to Paige Van Zandt. Whenever I first met her, she inspired me to sign up for the freaking gym. So I always channel those types of things and try to give that energy and that specialness to them. Yeah, for sure.
It's awesome.
Be a battle. I'm just glad I'm not a judge. I would never want to. It's too hard to judge me.
Yeah.
Because everyone looks good.
Okay, well, I want some good piece of advice for this Olympia and what you think.
You have to go in there confident. You have to go in, you've been dominating all year, and you have to go in there poised and prepare your speech.
Okay.
Prepare your speech. I did a lot of years, so I was ready when it happened. I was ready. Because because listen, it can happen that fast, just because of last year's placing, that's history, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you got to look forward to, just being confident. You're going to be interviewed a lot leading up. I mean, this is hometown, you thrive on that, and, you put in the work, and I think it's, it's just going to come, hopefully, as your time. I mean,
okay.
It's a new champion's going to be crowned.
That's true. It's true.
Someone new, and we just, whoever,
there's 3 Olympia winners there. Three or four.
Issa,
okay.
Issa, Ashley, Maureen, and
Angelica. So 4, yeah. 4.
Yeah. Last question. When you would go on stage for your individual routine, did you channel a character? Did you change? Because like there's Jay stage now.
I had to be. I was very confident, and like I always, what I do is try to draw the attention of the crowd, because remember I was here. I mean, I was a underdog for so long, and I feel like you have a lot of respect in that sense because you've got a lot of recognition through the year. So I feel like you have to become a different person. I mean, if you're an introvert like I was, I mean, I see too many people walk out with their head down.
Oh yeah, no.
And that's not the way. You have to invite the crowd.
Like I'm here.
Yes.
A presence on
and
stage.
I mean, I know you guys look at the judges, you make eye contact. Like I never really looked at the judges necessarily. I looked at more of the audience because I felt like when I was looking at the judges, it would intimidate me. Does that sound accurate?
Yeah.
Do you ever feel intimidated when you look at the judges?
If they're
or do you
looking
not?
at me, yes. Like
Okay.
if
I know, but if you're individual,
if they're looking down or talking to each other and not looking at me, that can intimidate me because I feel like, oh, they don't care about me or this, that. But
your first presentation is everything.
It is.
And look, I mean, you were almost overlooked at a contest. I mean, just go out there poised and go out there confident. I mean, that you're going to wear your hair like this, or if you're going to just show what your characteristics are, that's what you got to do. But be confident.
Okay.
And make sure Christian's yelling really loud and your daughter.
If you want to win, walk out there as the winner.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I interviewed Sean Roden before he beat Phil Heath, and he told me weeks out I'm going to win this title, and I was like, wow, it was really I didn't say he was arrogant, but I'm like, wow, that's some confidence because Phil Heath is one of the greatest ever, right? He won 7 in a row.
7, yeah.
So I was like, man, that's confidence, but he was dead serious. And when he walked out there, like, I was like, wow, he texted me before the show because he got to see him, and he's like,
before I said he's going to win.
Well, last year,
see it. He believed it.
I told everybody that I was going to get top 3. I was like, I'm going to get top 3. I know I can. And then I didn't. And then after that, I felt so bad that I told myself I will never say that again.
I know, but you're going to be top. You're going to be in the top. So I'm coming for the title. If I was walking into it and I could give you any advice, screw the top 3.
Yeah.
Screw the top 5.
You're there to win or you're there to lose.
Yeah, I'm coming for the title. I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, you're going to have the peanut gallery, but I mean, you're ready. You're sitting here. You're confident. I can tell.
Yeah. I'm excited.
So we're excited to see you up there.
Yeah.
We appreciate. Who do you want to thank? Thank your sponsors, whoever.
Yes. Well, thank you, both of you guys, Jay and Matt, for bringing me on here. This is an amazing experience.
We've been talking about it for a long time.
Yeah, we've said it a while. I waited till the time was right.
Thank you. My coach, Aimee Delgado, owner of Fit Body Fusion, and her husband, Greg Delgado. You guys are amazing. I love you guys so much. My sponsor, Jacob Frank from Global Formulas, the best supplements out there. And then I am also sponsored with Slim Tum. And then follow my YouTube, Fitness by Ames. That's my YouTube channel name. But yeah, thanks for watching.
We'll be checking it out, and we wish you the best. And you never know, you might be coming back on as Miss.
If there's a title, we expect it here with a speech
right here. Okay, I'll bring it next time I come in.
There you go.
Best of luck on the rest of prep.
Thank you.